esteemed colleagues, Mr. Gupta and Mr. Gupte, Dr. Batra, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me congratulate BW for launching the BW Defense as one of the leading media for defense, and then I really look forward to number one joining that community, and number two having those interesting conversations and being part of this community, and also adding value to this community. So congratulations, Dr. Batra and my good friend, Mr. Ajay Sharma. It's going to make a really good team to take this BW mission forward. Um, just a few quick remarks on who we are, and also how we partner with the country, right? The country has shown a will and muscle to become a global manufacturing and innovation hub. And India is really increasing its efforts to boost research, development, and manufacturing, with facilitating global industry players to partner with the Indian industry. And Thales is fully aligned with this, and in fact considers it as the core of our strategy. Some words about us. Thales is a global technology leader, investing in deep tech, digital connectivity, big data, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, quantum technology, open hardware research, and having extremely technology-driven solutions for defense as well as non-defense applications. We have a presence in about 68 countries, and we are present in India since 1953. So that makes us pretty much an Indian company, with roots in aeronautics, defense, space, transportation, as well as digital identity and security solutions, including analytics, cloud protection, and cybersecurity. I'm also happy to say that, again, continuing with Mr. Vahanaji's conversation, we are headquartered in Noida, the great state of UP, with over 1,000 employees present in Noida itself, 7 sites across the country, and touching about 2,000 employees altogether, and plan to double that in the next 3 to 5 years. Make in India is at the heart of what we do, not only for India, but also for the world. And in addition to our own forces, building our Indian roots through a solid ecosystem with local industry has been integral to our strategy. So we have about 75 local partners in our supply chain, and 2 operational joint ventures, majority owned by our Indian partners, that again makes us an Indian company. These JVs specifically again focus on technology-driven innovation and innovation deployment, with the active surveillance radar, so on airborne radar, manufacturing, integrating, testing, as well as prove out and support for the Spectra electronic warfare suite that goes on the Rafale, the Pharos radar, ground-based and naval radar for fire control, as well as the low-band receivers and many other technological innovations that come through these JVs, and our local presence. We are a member of the Rafale family, and many systems on the Rafale are essentially Thales systems. I'm also pleased to say that the support for Rafale from Thales comes from India. We have trained technicians who are present alongside our forces at the bases in the north that the Rafale is based out of, and they work hand in hand with our men in uniform to actually support these and ensure high operations and high reliability of the crucial fighters that our country has deployed. And we are extremely proud of what we and our employees are doing on a day-to-day basis, working shoulder to shoulder with our men in uniform. We are also ramping up our research and development facilities today with more than 1,300 engineers and growing, working across two engineering centers, one in Noida, one in Bangalore. Um, for Bangalore, launched about 2 years ago, we had already reached a critical mass of about 300, in addition to the 1,000 engineers that we have in Noida, and this number is growing by double digits every year. These engineers who work on cutting edge technology, and it is not just engineering support but actually innovation and product development across air traffic management, avionics development, development of underwater systems, um, radars, sonars, drone technology, and many others that get directly deployed across our forces in country as well as globally. Um, Digitization is a major concern for all the governments, and even so in a post-COVID era. Our investments in digital connectivity, big data, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and quantum computing position us as a credible partner to accompany the digital transformation in India across many sectors. And all this gets done right here in Noida, in fact, where we have a digital factory consisting of over 1,000 engineers. We are accelerating innovation in these technologies, and we had anticipated this explosion and had invested over 7 billion euros in the last 5 years just to have digital as a primary core for our strategy. And we are looking forward to have India benefit from this high-tech power to offer a safer, greener, and a more inclusive world, fighting the digital divide, and not only fighting but protecting the sovereignty of many countries, specifically through digital technologies. Our teams are helping fuel this momentum both in country and for the group globally. For design and development, and with prestigious references in digital identity and security domain, we actually work on data protection solutions for insurance, finance, as well as the sector that protects and identifies our citizens, which is the UIDAI program. Biometric products are also deployed across several domains in our country, and Thales is again at the front and center of deploying these products, not only for protection of biometrics for our own citizens, but also issuance of documents and identifications such as visas, passports, the chips inside the passports, and many other components that provide the technology for identification, biometrics, as well as protection of our citizens. It's been said that the fourth and fifth dimension of warfare is unmanned and space, and Thales is again at the front and center of providing these technologies to the country as well as to the world. Thales Alenia Space has about 40 years of experience in design and delivering tech solutions for telecommunications, surveillance, navigation, Earth observation, exploration, as well as defense requirements. We see opportunities in observation, telecom, exploration with various Indian stakeholders such as ISRO, local industry, and defense ecosystem, and are keen to leverage our space expertise in India, and are actually looking at co-development and partnership opportunities with the local industry. I would also highlight the capabilities that we have in UAVs and counter UAVs, right from detection and classification of a fly to a rogue drone. Thales has solutions, mobile as well as fixed, that can actually be deployed literally on shoulder, on trucks, or mounted on ground for counter UAV solutions, including jamming, geocaging, geofencing, hard kill, as well as directed energy weapon technology that we have demonstrated across the world in various occasions and various missions that we are keen to bring in into the country. We are extremely happy and excited about the drone policy that has been launched by Government of India, which talks about remote ID, no permission, no takeoff, as well as on unmanned traffic management, which results in detection as well as detection of threat and protection of key assets and infrastructure, which is another major dimension of wars or adversaries that are using as techniques to disrupt our infrastructure. And the solutions that we have, some of them directly, in fact, get developed right here in Bangalore at our engineering center. Cyber security, we are in the business of protecting the sovereignty of countries, including protecting the systems and the solutions that get developed, again, right here in our own backyard in Noida. So with this, it's been a privilege for us to witness the transformation of our country, and it's been a privilege to contribute to its growth story as well. We do need visibility in some areas, specifically space and UAVs and counter UAVs, to bring in the right technology and partner with the right partners in the Indian ecosystem that we are continuously striving to partner and look for strategic partnerships. We remain committed and back the Indian government's aim of Atmanirbhar Bharat. We continue to develop local skills, partnerships, innovation, and bring in futuristic technologies such as artificial intelligence, in-space surveillance and reconnaissance, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, and are heavily involved in open hardware research through academic collaborations to make this innovation a reality in partnership with our country. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, PW Defense, for arranging this conclave. My friends on the dais, Mr. Saraf, Mr. Gupte, and Mr. Batra for arranging this conference, and Mr. Ajay Sharma. It gives us immense pleasure to be present in this August gathering. Also, as a member of the industry, my heart swells with pride and optimism at the way Ministry of Defense and the tri-services are enabling policies which will drive the future of this industry. It is the grand vision of our Honorable Prime Minister to build an Atmanirbhar Bharat, which has opened a plethora of opportunities for the Indian defense industry, both big and small, government and private, and also for foreign OEMs. The focus on defense exports is driving the Indian defense industry towards excellence and integration in global supply chains. It is heartening to note some statistics. India's defense exports have grown by over 334% in the last 5 years. And in last 7 years, India has exported military hardware and equipment worth over 38,500 crores. Ladies and gentlemen, India is now the 24th largest exporter of major arms. Simultaneously, there has been a dip of 33% in India's weapon imports, as per SIPRI reports. Ministry of Defense and Government of India deserve a huge round of applause for this incredible achievement. India's defense budget is 4.78 lakh crores for the year 21-22, which is 2.15 of the GDP, 2.15% of the GDP. As India aims to become a $5 trillion economy by 24-25, our defense budget is likely to grow over $100 billion. This presents a great opportunity for the Indian industry to innovate and forge partnerships with foreign OEMs. Also, we are confident that such huge innovation, such huge potential would give rise to the Indian defense unicorns in the future who are currently in the startup space. Kudos to IDEX initiative by the Ministry of Defense that provides the entry-level platform to budding engineers, entrepreneurs, and innovators for getting into defense manufacturing. We all know how we and our families dealt with COVID. However, scientists at DRDO worked round the clock to develop and provide technologies and products to deal with COVID. I personally attended some web meetings chaired by Chairman DRDO, Shri Satish Reddy ji himself, to firstly identify industries capable of manufacturing the products and then hand-holding them during production phase. Apart from this, DRDO has been proactively working with the industry to provide TOTs for defense technologies now at very nominal cost. The DCPP, or the Development Cum Production Partner model by DRDO, is a great initiative to allow private industry to be on board the programs from the very beginning. Further, the TRI services offer immense opportunities to big, small, and startup companies. The Army Design Bureau provides industry the platform to engage with the forces and interactions to explain the challenges being faced by the forces. These challenges are the stepping stones to big opportunities for defense manufacturing companies. This also encourages innovation by the industry while developing solutions to address these challenges. Today, we have over 60 projects under the Make 2 scheme, which are in different stages of implementation. The interesting part is that each product has a technical brief and budget value mentioned alongside. This helps the industry participants to choose wisely the project of their interest and capability. As Indian defense exports are finding place in global markets, meeting the quality norms of the international standards is imperative. The DTIS, or the Defense Testing and Infrastructure Scheme, promulgated by MOD, will help to fill the gaps in our testing infrastructure and provide facilities to the industry to test as per world-class international standards. This again is a game changer for the Indian defense industry. And at the end, as part of the UP corridor participant, we would like to invite both Indian companies as well as foreign companies to come and invest in UP, which provides a great opportunity for the industry to set up manufacturing facilities and avail great incentives, as also pointed out by our Honorable Industries Minister, Shri Satish Mahanaji. The UP Defense Corridor is geographically well located and connected with air, rail, and road network to other parts of the country. It can be an ideal location for defense manufacturing and innovation, as it is having many test ranges and also home to renowned institutes like IIT Kanpur and IIT BHU. And ladies and gentlemen, I belong to MKU Limited, and this is a company which has been there since 1985, and we have been doing exports since the year 2000. Today, our products are being used in over 100 countries, 230 forces trust our products, and it's a pleasure to be here and amongst you. Thank you, and Jan Hai.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you to the BW team for putting together this event. You are building a team of stars and we expect that great things from your team going forward after this inaugural session. As has been discussed by my friends on the dais here, the Prime Minister's vision has been very well articulated in terms of clear production and export goals for India's defense industry. We in the industry are committed to delivering the goals of capability and capacity to take forward that vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The vision requires a few things. It requires the continuation of policies that encourage global competitiveness. And this competitiveness can be achieved through financial and technology investments in the Indian supply chain, but specifically, it's going to require upskilling of the labor force and continued growth in being able to handle new technologies at every level of industry, from the largest conglomerates down to the smallest MSMEs. Now, I want to provide some context. We stand at an inflection point, a time of incredible importance and opportunity, a time during which our industry of aerospace and defense has a chance to transform that domestic capability. And with it, as Dr. Butler mentioned earlier, the domestic economy as well. At the same time, we're a mission-driven industry. We have the mission to help protect the nation against all threats. And so the manner by which we have to do that is through partnership. Now, I think everyone is familiar with Boeing and what we do as an organization, both in civil and defense. And I will say that with our global experience, we see a couple forms of partnership that are absolutely critical to achieving our mission as an aerospace and defense industry. One is the context of the partnership between nations. It's a strategic partnership. And there's so many examples of this all around us. There's been the reinvigoration of the Quad over the last few years. And look, while the Quad is not expressly a military partnership, it creates opportunities nonetheless for improving readiness for the Indian Defense Services via joint exercises, cooperation on platforms, sharing of situational awareness, and a lot more. I'll give an example of the US-India relationship, which is of particular importance for a US company like Boeing. Over the past 15 years, that growth in that relationship has outpaced all expectations. We've had the signing of foundational agreements that have allowed the US and India to share information on geospatial exchange information, on tighter communications, in various theaters, and on logistics. And India has become a major defense partner for the US. India also has military logistics agreements with other Quad countries, and also has held joint naval exercises with all the countries in the Quad, in addition to having agreement around comprehensive strategic partnerships with Australia. So it's not just the US, it's a number of different countries. And those strategic partnerships that India has with these various countries on technology development, on technology transfer, are going to be very important as a backdrop for everything that we as companies and industry want to achieve in India to ensure that it reaches its goals of readiness against whatever threats it faces, but also as it seeks to grow its defense industry in the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And so that brings us to the second form of partnership, which is the partnership, I think, as we've all discussed already, between companies. Now, I mentioned the consistency of policy. One of those policies is the Defense Production and Export Promotion Policy, or the DPEPP. I always have a lot of fun with that acronym, that aims to achieve over 25 billion US dollars of exports, of defense turnover, of which 20% will be exports. Now, foreign companies have made significant investments toward building manufacturing and service hubs in India in pursuit of this goal. For Boeing, we have Boeing Defense India, which is an Indian company that supports the defense services here in India, from India, for India. Admiral Ahuja is with me today, who leads our efforts and leads our team in that space. And broader than that, we have all been involved, as some of my colleagues noted, in developing the right skills, developing allied industries, and trying to ensure that there's appropriate technology transfers to the company or to the country. We at Boeing currently have over 3,000 employees here directly and 7,000 that are members of our supply chain, and we consider part of the global Boeing family. We work with 275 different Indian partners already, of which 60, I'm proud to say, are MSMEs. And the way that we have done that is with a focus on building our supply chain team. This has been a particularly important priority for me over the past couple of years. Our team in Bangalore is not only there to ensure supplier performance, their primary role is to seek and develop the next generation of great Indian manufacturers. It's not just about the large conglomerates, though they have been tremendous partners for us, but it's about taking an MSME that might not even be in the aerospace industry. They might not even be in the defense industry. They might be in the auto industry, and showing them the skills and technologies and working with and what it takes to work with advanced composite materials, or whatever it takes to transition them into aerospace and allow them to become a global exporter, to become part of the global aerospace and defense supply chain. If you do this enough, you can grow. And I'm proud to say that over the past 4 years, we've quadrupled our exports from India to over 7,500 crores annually now that we do. Thank you. And look, it's not just us. Steadily, as was mentioned by my colleagues on the dais, so many of these foreign companies are also doing other high-value work in India. So our team in Bangalore is working on the latest aeronautical design for the next generation of aircraft products. All of those 275 companies that I mentioned have moved up the value chain. We're not just satisfied doing sheet metal parts or machine parts. We want to take them from sheet metal parts to machine parts, to simple assemblies, to complex assemblies, to working with the most advanced composite materials. We want to introduce technologies and concepts like full-scale determined assembly, which allows for easier manufacturing, because that drives down costs and improves quality in the manufacturing environment. Once Indian companies become attuned to those capabilities and technologies, once they become experts in deploying those, that will put them well on their way to developing indigenous platforms from India for India and from India for the world. This is all part of the localization story. I'll give an example from the Boeing context. Our JV factory with Tata in Hyderabad, we have grown the capability to also to not only do defense, but also civil, using the full-scale determined technologies that I mentioned. On the defense side there, we make the body of the helicopter for the mighty Apache attack helicopter, the body of the helicopter for the mighty Apache attack rotorcraft, which is not only for the Indian Defense Services, it's not only for the Indian Air Force or for the Indian Army, but we make it in Hyderabad for the US Army as well. That is what it means to make in India for the world from our standpoint. And that's just one example. We believe that that's just the start. So that's the context of where we think this is all going, based on what we've been able to do, not just us, but other foreign companies as well. But we need some help to continue that momentum. We need, for example, and I think this will be discussed in some of the panel conversations later today, we need consistency in policy. So I mentioned that DPEPP. One of the things that it talks about is leveraging the scale and the synergies between civil aerospace and defense aerospace. Now, it's not a surprise that it does that, because every aerospace industry everywhere in the world, and I think our honored guests are joining us today, so joining us, welcome, sir. Every defense industry in the world that has succeeded in aerospace manufacturing has leveraged that scale synergy between civil and defense. Why? Welcome, sir. Because think about it, when you have an MSME and they're trying to move down the cost curve and the capability curve and move up the capability curve, having both civil and defense allows them to do it more quickly. And they're competing globally with both conglomerates and mid-sized companies that are doing both. So you cannot have separate policies to grow civil aviation manufacturing and defense aviation manufacturing. And the DPEPP recognizes that and seeks to resolve that. But we've noticed that some other policies, like the DAP, for example, don't quite recognize that yet. Now, we know that the ministry is working on that. And so we expect to see progress there. But that's an example where consistency of policy can help accelerate the progress and keep this momentum going. So in summary, what I would say is it's that type of consistency, that type of cooperation between ministries, not just within defense, that can further India's global competitiveness, that can continue this momentum that we've all talked about, capture more share as all of us seek not just to make in India for India, but make in India for the world. With that, I think I'll let us go to our honored guests. Thank you so much for joining us both in person and virtually.